The question is, are you an Esther? Thank you for tuning in today. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you. I appreciate for subscribing. Thank you for your loyalty, and thank you for being here for us to learn together. What I want to talk about today are the 5 traits of the Esthers. I know you know about Esther, Queen Esther, right? The little orphan girl who, from being an orphan, living with the uncle, became the queen in the land, the wife of King Xerxes. I don't know how to mention I don't know how to call the name of that king, but you remember that she became a king. Now, the things that we want to talk about are the 5 traits of the Esthers. One of the 5 traits of the Esthers is that they honor God with their bodies. Esther chapter 2, that is where we read from. They honor God with their bodies because when it was time for after Queen Vashti dishonored her husband in the public at the event, it was time for them to find another wife for the king, and they decided to go around in the kingdom to find some of those ladies who were virgins. And the reason I say that they honor God with their body is that among the virgins, King Esther was found to be there. They honor God with their bodies. They understand that this body is not their own body, but this body is a temple of God. They understand that God should be honored in this body. They do not displease God in their bodies. Because if Queen Esther was one of those people, you can't tell me that in the whole kingdom that all the ladies there were God-fearing. But King Esther decided to honor God, which made her one of the virgins that we have fetched to be treated, to be kept for the king to choose from them. Unfortunately for her, she was chosen. She became the king in the she became the queen in the land in the first place because she decided to honor God, which brought her out to be among the people that were to be selected. Now, the second point is that the Esthers are obedient. When you read Genesis chapter 2 verse 10, you will discover, and then 15, you will discover that Queen Esther listened to everything that um, Mordecai told her. The first thing that Mordecai told her was that she was not going to disclose her identity to anyone. Queen Esther kept to that. Even when she became the queen in the land, she still kept to that. She never disclosed anybody. She never disclosed to anybody her identity. Another thing I discovered is that in verse 15, she obeyed Haggai, who was the one in charge of grooming them and keeping them. She was obedient to the man, and everything the man said, that was what she did. Another point of the Esthers is that they are favored because they honor God with their bodies. You will discover that there were so many persons that were selected to be the king's wife, but because Esther was favored, she decided to honor God. She found favor with God, because when your way pleases the Lord, He makes even your enemies to be at peace with you. So Queen Esther, because she honored God, was able to find favor with God. She was favored. Out of all the persons that came for selection, she was selected because she honored God with her body. She honored God with her body. I wouldn't know what went wrong, but one thing is that whoever God wants to favor, He favors. Because first of all, she honored God with her body. She was able to find favor to be selected among the people that were to be groomed for the king, and eventually she became the queen. Another point here is that they are humble. Verse 20, they are humble. Even after Esther left the stage of being the little girl of Mordecai and became the queen of the land, she was still humble to Mordecai. She was still very much humble to Mordecai. She didn't say, okay, since I am now the queen, I am no longer your little girl, that she couldn't listen to Mordecai. She paid attention to everything that Mordecai said. She was humble enough to listen and to obey Mordecai. The fourth point here is that they are women of prayers. You remember after she became the queen, you remember what Haman did? Because Haman was against Mordecai, he was looking for a way to put these ones in shame. You remember what he did? He planned to kill every one of the Jews in one day. When he got to Mordecai, he sent a word to the king, to the queen, Esther, and told her that this is what is on board and all of those things. When it dawned on her that she was the savior of her people, she decided to declare a fast. If okay, if it could have been me, I would say okay, because I am married to the king, I could have done this in my own way. I could have done it by my own power. But Queen Esther, Queen Esther didn't see it that way. She knew that some of these things we don't get them by our own power. She knew that for her to save her people, she had to be that prayerful woman. She declared a fast in the land for 3 days, and everyone was involved. At the end of the day, she overcame. So one of the threats of the Esthers is that they don't handle issues with their own power, with their fame, with their own ability. They handle issues in the place of prayer. The last threat of the Esthers, which is the fifth one, is that they are full of God wisdom. You remember after she was able to overcome Haman, did you remember how she overcame, she decided to bring Haman down? She invited her over for dinner. Some of us could have gone another way, gone a way around to get back at Haman, but she did it in a way that depicts wisdom. They are full of wisdom. She didn't do it in a way that king could start looking at her and saying any kind of thing, or start looking at her like maybe she was trying to put his kingdom in disarray. She did it in a way that she invited the king, she invited Haman over for dinner. And in the process of that dinner, she disclosed what got her worried, what made her worried, and all of these things. You realize that that was how Haman lost everything. Haman lost everything because of that singular act of wisdom. There could have been another way that Esther dealt with that matter that could have been a problem. But she didn't choose to do it in any way that shows that now I am in charge. She used wisdom. I don't know who you are. Look at these points that I've mentioned, from the first point to the last point. Are you an Esther, or you are just there? You discover that the threats of Esthers are not only for those who are Esthers. I just said this way for us to understand that these threats of Esthers are for the women who are vicious, are for the women who honor God. Are you an Esther? Just ask yourself that question. Am I an Esther? From these 5 threats of Esther, are you an Esther? Do you honor God with your body? Are you humble? Even when you have everything you may have dreamt of, are you humble? Do you handle matters in the place of prayers? Or do you handle things with your own power and strength? Ask yourself, if you were in the place of Esther, were you going to be the savior? Like, were you going to save your people from the danger that Haman planned for them? The question is, are you an Esther? And it is left for you to answer that question, whether you are an Esther or not. While you answer that question, I am going to leave you with that and hope that by next week we shall see again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. God bless you. See you next week.